listening to the Positive Professional Podcast with your host, me, Tracy Yvonne. This podcast is a weekly conversation about all things mental health, self-care, and wellness. And there'll be sprinkles of positivity, mindfulness, and guided meditations. Welcome back to Season 5, Episode 31. Today I'm diving into a topic that is deeply resonating with many, and that's radical self-care post-presidential election. The aftermath of elections, especially in highly polarized political climates such as now, can have significant effects on our mental health. I'm going to explore why so many people continue to struggle post-election and how radical self-care can serve as a powerful remedy. I'll also be sharing 10 detailed ways to engage in radical self-care to help you reclaim your peace and well-being during these challenging times. So, let's get started. Election periods often heighten emotions, ignite debates, and amplify divisions. Even after the results are finalized, many individuals find themselves grappling with the aftermath. Why is this the case? Well, it's important to understand that elections often reflect more than just political choices. As I said in a previous episode, they touch on core values, social issues, and identity-based concerns. So here are a few reasons why people are continuing to struggle. The first is heightened anxiety and uncertainty. Elections can bring about significant changes in policies and leadership, leading to uncertainty about the future. For marginalized communities, this uncertainty can feel more acute, with fears about their rights, safety, and livelihoods. Social division and conflict. Many relationships have been strained or even severed due to opposing political views, and we're seeing this a lot on social media. Post-election, people may feel isolated or unable to communicate with friends and family. Media overload and fatigue. Leading up to the elections, people are inundated with political news and social media posts. Post-election, this can lead to burnout and fatigue as news cycles continue to churn with analysis, conflict, and commentary. Loss and disillusionment. For some, their chosen candidate or cause may not have won, leading to feelings of hopelessness, grief, or fear for the future. And residual trauma. For individuals who've experienced past traumas or injustices, certain political outcomes can be triggering, compounding stress and mental health struggles. The aftermath of an election doesn't exist in a vacuum. It can lead lingering effects on our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. This is where radical self-care comes in. So you may be wondering, what makes self-care radical? After all, isn't self-care just about bubble baths, naps, and treating yourself? And while those activities can play a certain role, radical self-care goes deeper. It's about taking deliberate, transformative actions to protect and nurture your mental, emotional, and physical health. Radical self-care is revolutionary because it requires us to prioritize our well-being even when, especially when, life feels overwhelming. It can involve creating boundaries, seeking justice, and showing yourself compassion and grace in times of adversity. And I'll share more in the next segment. Radical self-care means acknowledging that your well-being is non-negotiable, as in standing 10 toes down with that. It challenges the idea that we must consistently push through at the expense of our health. It's a conscious, sometimes disruptive commitment to self-preservation and healing. And here are 10 ways you can engage in radical self-care post-election. First is to establish boundaries with media and social media. Think about limiting exposure to news cycles and social media. Give yourself permission to turn off notifications, unfollow accounts that trigger stress, and take digital detox days. Next is to connect with a supportive community. Seek out spaces where you feel seen and heard. This can be a support group, a social club, or an online community dedicated to self-care and mutual support. Advocate for yourself and others. Engage in activism if it aligns with your values. Channeling anxiety into action can be empowering and help you feel more in control. Just ensure that you pace yourself to avoid burnout. Prioritize rest and sleep. Rest isn't a luxury, it's essential. Create a consistent bedtime routine, reduce screen time before bed, and give yourself grace if you need an extra nap during the day. Set and enforce boundaries with others. If political discussions are causing stress, communicate your boundaries clearly. You are not obligated to engage in conversations that jeopardize your mental health. Practice mindfulness and grounding techniques. Use meditation, deep breathing, and grounding exercises to manage stress and bring your focus back to the present moment. These practices can reduce anxiety and increase resilience. Engage in creative expression. Channel your feelings into art, writing, music, or another creative outlet. Creativity can be deeply cathartic and a form of healing. Take time for joyful activities. Schedule time for hobbies, nature walks, reading, or other activities that bring you genuine joy. Prioritizing moments of happiness is a radical act of self-care during challenging times. Practice self-care and compassion. Be gentle with yourself. Acknowledge that it's okay to feel overwhelmed, scared, or unsure. Speak to yourself with kindness, just as you would do a close friend. And the last is to seek professional help. Talking to a licensed therapist, counselor, or support group can provide a safe space to process your feelings and develop coping strategies tailored to your needs. Radical self-care post-election is about more than surviving the aftermath. It's about thriving despite it. By committing to these practices, you empower yourself to stay resilient and grounded even when the world feels turbulent. Remember, your well-being matters. You deserve care, rest, and support. Thanks for listening and supporting this podcast. And make sure you're clicking the like and subscribe button. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Stay safe, be well, and don't forget to be the best version of you.